Hello to everybody out there in this great big world of social media. This is your brother Dana coming to you from the city of Chicago. Tonight's video, and I just want to put this warning, quote unquote, to those that are about ready to watch this video, that I am showing some clips of some videos that are not going to be most enjoyable to a majority of us. And that is why I want to do this video as kind of a heart check to you, my white evangelical family members. And so I want to challenge specifically my white evangelical family members to watch this video now with these clips, and then I'm going to return. I'm going to ask you to stick with me through what I'm wanting to say. And sometimes words can't say enough. It has to be done in pictures, or now with modern technology, I can say videos.
My name is Dr. Anthony Levatino. I'm a practicing obstetrician gynecologist, and I've performed over 1,200 abortions. Today I'm going to describe a first trimester surgical abortion called suction D&C, dilatation and curettage. This is the most frequently performed abortion and is used typically from 5 to 13 weeks of pregnancy. After administering anesthesia, the abortionist uses a speculum like this. This is placed inside the vagina and opened using this screw on the side, allowing the abortionist to see the cervix, the entrance to the uterus. The cervix acts as a gate that stays closed for the duration of pregnancy, protecting the baby until it is ready for birth. The abortionist uses a series of metal rods called dilators, like these, which increase in thickness, and inserts them into the cervix to dilate it, gaining access to the inside of the uterus where the baby resides. The baby has a heartbeat, fingers, toes, arms, and legs, but its bones are still weak and fragile. The abortionist takes a suction catheter like this one. This is a 14 French suction catheter. It's clear plastic, about 9 inches long, and it has a hole through the center. It is inserted through the cervix into the uterus. The suction machine is then turned on with a force 10 to 20 times more powerful than your household vacuum cleaner. The baby is rapidly torn apart by the force of the suction and squeezed through this tubing.
Another story unfolding this evening. There's growing outrage over chilling video showing the deadly shooting of an unarmed black man in Georgia. 2 white men, a father and son, both with guns, confronting him while he was jogging. There were no arrests at the time. Now, 2.5 months later, the DA is now sending the case to a grand jury. We warn you tonight, the video is disturbing, and here's Steve Osunsami.
This is the recording of the killing on a street in South Georgia that has people around the world outraged and has a prosecutor investigating. The young man seen jogging towards his death is 25-year-old Ahmaud Arbery. The father and son with the guns in the white pickup truck are Gregory and Travis McMichael. They explained to police that they believe that Arbery was responsible for a number of break-ins in their neighborhood and were trying to make a citizen's arrest when this happened on February 23rd. Gregory McMichael, who police say is seen here in the bed of the truck, is a former investigator with the local district attorney and a former local police officer, which has complicated this case.
I'm out here at Satilla Shores. There's a black male running down the street.
Where at Satilla Shores?
I don't know what street we're on. Stop right there! Is it? Stop!
It is now nearly 2.5 months later, and no one has been arrested. The case has bounced from prosecutor to prosecutor because 2 of them had some prior connection to the McMichaels. A third prosecutor, who took the case 3 weeks ago, has now announced that a grand jury will decide if there are criminal charges. But the courts are still closed because of the coronavirus, so a grand jury won't meet until the middle of June. Protests have hit.
Like I had warned you, what you're about to see were things that I hope absolutely broke your heart. But see, what I also wanted to do in these videos is to reveal to those of you that your heart broke, but not for all three scenarios. Because I know what you, as my white evangelicals and Christians in this country, have said every single time I have brought to your attention, whether it's on Facebook or when I was still meeting around at times with you years ago. You would always say, well, that I hear you, but I guess I just need to know the whole story. You need to know the whole story. Because the truth of the fact is this: there's got to be something in the story that points out to confirm and affirm what your heart says. The black man had it coming. He should have. If he would have, why didn't he? But yet I know without a shadow of a doubt, you don't ask for the whole story about the woman that's getting abortion, because you know what? After all, maybe the baby had something in it that's going to kill the mom, or maybe it's due to some brutal rape case. Or what about the dog? Maybe the dog was beat because the dog actually attacked a child moments before. See, I know you're not asking those questions to those scenarios, because those scenarios break your heart. And you don't care what the full story is. If the dog bit, then put him down in a right way. Euthanize him where he doesn't have pain. Yes, you might have got raped, lady, but come on. Have the baby and we'll help raise it. Right. And so this is where I come to in this video. If the Spirit of God, of the Holy Spirit, the true living God, is in your heart as a Gentile believer, and you are serving the true God of the Bible and not Christianity, white supremacy, you would take a nice, deep, honest look at your heart and at least acknowledge to yourself really where you really are, so that it won't be a surprise to you when things start changing. Because most of you see that dog more valuable than the black man, but yet as a Christian in the Bible, you stand on 1 John 4:20, where it says, we love because he first loved us. If anyone says, I love God, but hates his brother, he is a liar. For anyone who does not love his brother whom he has seen cannot love God whom he has not seen. And we have this commandment from him: whoever loves God must love his brother as well. So you got two options. Either you don't see this black man even as a human. So then this verse won't affect your heart then, in your own eyes. But, whatever makes you happy, fine. You can justify that blacks are not equal, they're not human, they're subhuman. And therefore this scripture, when those white men gunned him down, they were gunning down only a part of a human being, one less than us. Or number two, if you do acknowledge they are human, then you at least going to have to admit that you do not love them as a brother. And I thought For so long we have been taught as white people that it was the blacks, that act crazy and steal and go wild. And you always bring up so-called riots, which were not riots, they were protests, just as they protested. And I know that I didn't go further into that protest because that would even make you angry that those blacks are out there protesting when they should wait until they know the whole story, because you value them less than a dog and even less than an unborn baby. And so you're not pro-life. You're just anti-abortion, unless you don't consider blacks a part of life as human, which I understand because that's what I was basically taught, that blacks would become civil once they were culturized by us great white people. But I was talking to my mom today, and I've been checking some things out because I figured, of course, there's not going to be any food or toilet paper or paper towels, beef, eggs, milk in an inner city because, as I've been taught, black people just go crazy, right? So I thought I would be able to go to white communities or suburbs far enough from Chicago where I would find the toilet paper and I'd find the paper towels and plenty of food, because I've been taught that foolish and craziness and that take and hoarding is what black people do, not us as whites, because they were the animals and we were the ones that were civilized. But when I've gone out to these places, guess what? They are completely out of toilet paper and paper towels. They're out of beef. They were out of all kinds of things. And there were signs up there that said that now, due to the shortage and the hoarding and probably the craziness, even though they didn't put it that way, they said due to the shortage, now they have to limit people to 2. But see, if you are people who are born civil, if white people were born the people that were of God, and we know decency and we know community and we know what brotherly love is because we have Jesus in our lives, then why am I finding those signs all over in your white areas if you are people that said, hey, wait a minute, I know this is happening, but we are civilized people, so I will take just what I need like I would any time during all these years before this fear of this pandemic came, because we're civil people. So we're going to share like civil people. We're going to love each other as brothers. You don't give a damn about each other either when it comes to your survival, because you are not seeking first the kingdom of the true God. You're seeking, just as the word says, that the Gentiles and the strangers and all of them will run around getting what they need to eat and what they need to wear, because deep down inside they don't seek after the Most High Yah. But see, my black brothers and sisters, they're more civil than we will ever be. Because after years and years of our oppression and lynching them, just like I showed in our lies to how we really value them, they still praise their God. And those in the Christian realm who say they're God are trying to open up these churches and command and demand your freedom. But yet, where did Jesus Christ ever tell you to go and make a church so that a pastor could live in wealth in some of these prestigious churches? So I'm going to come back to you, my white evangelical Christian family members. You cannot love the true God if you do not love your black brothers and sisters, not only now as equal as humans, but one step further, recognizing that they are the true Hebrews, the true chosen people of God. They resemble our Messiah, Jesus Christ. And if those things make you upset, then just know this, where your heart is. And when this coming judgment that has already begun begins to really hurt, at least you will know why you are being a part of it. And you will also know that you had an opportunity to change and accept this truth and examine your heart. And in one of those videos that I watched tonight, that father and son came out and said, we're not racist. We don't have a racist bone in our body. And if you think that you can say that same thing, you are deceiving yourself, and the truth is not in you.